Hi guys to everyone, it's Ada from Poison Rock, and today we give a really welcome back because it's like kind of it's been a while to Chris Caffery today to talk about Savatage.
Yes,
So
it's great to be back, and it's fun to be talking about Sabotage again. It's been a very long time, so
yeah,
it's
because
been a lot of fun. And I even have this background that they gave me that I think I told somebody that I'm gonna make a giant one because I'm gonna need this behind me everywhere I go, or I'm not gonna feel like everything looks right. So I'm gonna take it to
yeah,
the grocery store. I'll be a Sabotage banner
like
everywhere I
Savatage
go.
all the time, but it's
Yeah.
good. I mean, but it's good. A lot of people are like getting insane about that. Like they are coming, they are coming. There is a lot of hype, and I know that you have a lot of interviews to do to cover. Just doing press coverage, and it's a lot of stress. But before we start to speak about the core, which is the touring of Sabotage, I just want to briefly to ask you, how did it go with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the tour? Because you did a big, gigantic tour lately on Christmas time, of course.
Yeah, we just finished that, and we didn't even know we were going to be doing Sabotage shows a year ago. We got the phone calls and everything came around, and now we're just starting to rehearse on our own. I believe I'm flying down to Florida to the band's studio in a week and a half to we're going to do some work on who's actually going to be doing the
Yeah, keyboard.
keyboard stuff live because John physically is not able to be out
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the run, so we have not finalized that as of yet. And then we get back down to Florida at the end of March for I
Okay.
believe almost 3 weeks to rehearse. We're gonna be doing a pretty solid rehearsal because we don't, we haven't played in a long time and we don't want to sound like it. So
Yeah. How long was it like? When was the last time actually you performed live with Sabotage?
well, the last time we did a show was at Wacken in 2015, but the last tour was 2002.
My God, this is huge.
Yeah, so it's been 23 years since we've toured.
So that's why almost everything is going sold out. That's the
Yeah.
reason. So, and I mean, and for
So
you, how does it feel, Chris? Because you, like I said, you play with the Doro, you have your own music, you've been with TSO. So, how does it feel like to bring back the Sabotage soul?
it actually feels like I'm me again.
It
A
really,
lot of these other things I do, I'm playing guitar with Doro.
yeah,
Trans-Siberian Orchestra, I've been there since the very beginning and played every show possible,
exactly.
but it's a big, huge, production of a Sabotage to me is kind of more of what I am. It's more of Chris Caffery,
Oh,
and it's I think that I'm able to go be me. I'm when I'm Chris Caffery and Sabotage, I'm just Chris Caffery and Sabotage, and that part of me I've been missing. I've been missing
that's nice to
going out there and being who I am in front of those fans and playing that music and just being a part of Sabotage was such an important part of my life. I mean, TSO, the majority of our touring
yeah,
was in November and December. We did some
yeah,
stuff out of the winter when Paul had still
yeah.
been alive, but and the other things were spots here and there. But I had a lot of empty months, and that was kind of what at first it enabled me to do all the writing I did when I
Yeah.
wrote the song Abandon. It was about that. That music was written for Sabotage. The lyrics I wrote myself because there was no Sabotage, and now that Sabotage is back in my life, I'm just really happy. I feel kind of, even when stress comes around, I'm
Yeah.
still peaceful with where I'm
Yeah.
at, because it's been such a missing piece that
Of your
it just makes me feel balanced in a way that I don't think anything else could have.
And that's amazing because like the tour will start like around June and it's cover up like first Europe if I'm right, and then you're gonna go in South America to no first in South America, right?
Yeah, South
And
America in
then
April.
Europe. So it's
Yeah,
intense. I mean
yeah.
you are used to intense stress during live with the TSO during two lives, two show per day. So already that. But with Sabotage, like it's I think it's gonna be different because, like I said, it's been a long time since the performing, and you're gonna gather all to perform. And of course, I want to ask you, like, because of course we know that John is not gonna be physically involved, but he's still how involved. So how is will be involved in this touring?
How is
John is gonna be involved in the live shows, in the preparing the
Well,
tour.
John, I mean, he was the one who told us to go do it, really. He
Really?
kind of wants this thing to happen as much as anyone, and he was the first one to say we were going to be working on a new record, and then he had, his health issues come up,
Yeah.
and we kind of paused things, and the ability to do these shows happen, and John wanted us to go do it. I remember speaking to him right before we were about to leave for the TSO tour, and I was like, John, I've never done a Sabotage show without you. And we were getting kind of emotional talking about his brother and things and our lives and our families and people we lost and everything like that. And he just looked at me and he said, will you go play this fucking music?
Such
So
a smile.
it really, that explains everything. I mean, he wants to be there. And I think if anything, it's going to inspire, the powers that be to get with
Yeah.
him and heal him and
Yeah.
get him with us and in any way, shape, or form that he can. And I know he's going to be at our rehearsals and he's working with us on the sets and he'll be working on the production and everything else we do. And hopefully we can add him in somehow through the video screens if we record
Yeah.
something or whatever. But we will make sure he's there, and he is always there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
John's band basically, so it's like
Well,
he just physically is
yeah.
not
Yeah.
able to fly and travel right now, and I know
People
that he
understand that.
wants to be there, and he is I know John. He's one of the strongest people I've ever met in my life, and he's had a whirlwind of hits on him. His wife had passed, his father passed, his son-in-law passed,
It's not
Paul
the
had
reason.
passed
Yeah.
away. So, he had multiple sound engineers and band members from John Oliva's Pain and all these, he's got
Yeah.
so many reasons to push himself to stay there and be there and get out there and do this. And I think that, like I
Thank
said, he's the strongest person that I've worked with in this business physically and emotionally. And I just think that I know the Mountain King and we'll get the
Yeah.
Mountain King out there with us when he can.
And I think that the people, the fan also of Sabotage, they're gonna feel, John's and John's soul in the live performances because if it, like I said, he's behind everything, the production, everything, they're gonna feel it. And of course, you also are part of Sabotage, part of the history of Sabotage, and people. I mean, here you have literally people that are, I mean, literally making shows dedicating to you for your birth from those guys. You have like a big fan base like John. I don't literally if there was like a chance, East Sicily would be like Sabotage Island, literally like that.
Well, that makes me happy because I think the fans realize how important this band is to me, and I
Yeah,
think that has a lot to do with it. And my love for this band translates to them, and I
yeah,
think that is why, and I was John and Chris's little brother out there on those tours, and I left when I did to work with my own brother, but I was back with John a year and a half later. It wasn't like I was gone for a long time. It was probably a stupid decision. I was a little kid, but it's
no,
just been a part of my life since I was 17 years old, and we're working with Paul, and then I got onto the stage with Savatage for the first time when I was 19. I was 18 when I first got asked to learn their music for the Mountain King tour. So that's, a little kid. I was a little kid that was brought into this family and this world, and I think that the fans know how important it is for me in
yeah,
my life, and they feel that when they see me and
yeah.
hear me.
And also because Sabotage is one of those bands that make the music history. And there's no one in the music scene, it could be rock, metal, that doesn't know a Sabotage song, that does know Sabotage. whatever you ask, they know it. So I'm sure that this tour is gonna be, it is already like a also a big milestone in Savatage career too, because it's a big comeback. And I mean, after like the last tour in 20, like you said, like 2022, 20, yeah, 2002 was the last official tour you made.
Yeah.
And how do you feel like to come back to touring again under the name of Sabotage? Like, yeah, I mean, with all
It's
big,
fun. I mean, I looked at these festival bills for the last 20 years and our name wasn't there. And I would see all my friends up there and they were playing and I was like, man, I just missed that. And it's not that that's what matters that I'm playing these festivals. It just, like I said, it's like life feels normal to me
yeah.
again. I'm seeing the festivals, I'm seeing the tour dates. It's like I'm seeing Sabotage in my email and on the photos online, and I go to my
And your
website.
background, your
Yeah,
background.
exactly. So it just feels like things are back to normal. It was always, like I said, such an important part of my life, and
Yeah.
it's going to be fun. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
I remember in detail all the times that we spent. I love touring around the world. I love seeing places that I had been that I love, but I mean, we're going to Chile and Argentina. We've never been there with Sabotage ever, so
Never.
we're
This is
doing some new places that we've never been.
okay.
So, and we've spoken more about the future and
Yeah,
talked about other places like
that's beautiful.
Australia and Mexico and other places out in the Far East and things, places we've never been. So we're gonna keep going with this, and I think
Yeah, of course.
2026 you're gonna see a lot more shows. I don't have any exact dates right now, so I always tell people that you'll probably know before I do because that always seems like it's the way it is. The
But
fans always know. They're like when we got the
yeah.
first my first notification that we were playing Rock Wave was from people I knew in Greece. Um,
Like,
they were like, "I hear you're playing Rock Wave." I'm like, "Really?" And
did you
I
win?
think there was a couple things that we might have done out there, but I didn't hear for sure on any of that stuff. So, it's kind of like that, or a little, like you said, a wind up on Blabbermouth. Sabotage is doing this. We are, and
Like,
every
I'm not sure enough. Like, fans knows better, but it's also because you're, of course, like because you're you're going to play live. You're going to be there, and of course, it's one step at a time, I think.
yeah, exactly. That's what I tell
Yeah.
everybody. It's like when I get the email, the phone call, that'll probably be the same day that if we're not told we can announce it, that'll be the day I know. And when things are able to be announced, I will because
Sure.
we don't like to say something's going to happen that gets canceled or doesn't happen. So we always just have a policy of waiting till it gets on the Sabotage site before we mention it ourselves, and that's kind of the way it's been with everything we do with TSO, with Sabotage. Not everything goes in a chain so that the false information doesn't wind
Yeah,
up getting
yeah,
out
of
there.
course.
So
Because of course, like nowadays, fans are asking, like in a fans magazine and everything, are asking, what about the future? What about the album? What about that? But let's say one thing to them. First, just go to the show and enjoy the big comeback.
yeah,
After that is over, just that's a question for another time. I understand, they are like they want everything, but I think that we have to enjoy that comeback on the stage. They come back on the festival show, on the festival stage, on the venue stage, whatsoever. But about, of course, this is a question that I've been asked from people. People are asking, did you already think about the set list of the two of the that you will do? General lines, of course.
what the music or
Yeah, that music you're gonna perform, like in songs.
there's a giant set list. It's
Oh,
like
jeez.
John
Like,
wrote this list of 28 songs, and I
mm,
play through them. I don't play through every. Johnny Lee Middleton said yesterday he plays through every one of them twice every day. I don't think I have that much free time right now, but I play through at least a different. I play through a different album of them a couple times a day, and it's you have to come up with different festival lengths. I
yeah,
think some will be 60, some will be 70, and then I don't know if
Yeah.
we're getting any as little as 45, but I had in the past. And then you have the headline ones. We're gonna try to play as long as we possibly can before we pass out. So we're, we're gonna,
I can, okay,
it'll be we'll be we're
bye.
gonna play a lot of songs, and we'll probably do a couple. Not in the festival shows. We'll try to keep them evens because
Okay.
there's so many other elements you got to deal with those
Yeah,
days that
of
you don't
course.
want to add surprises to yourself.
Yeah,
But the
sure.
headline shows, we'll probably swap that stuff up to where some of them, because I know some people are traveling to see a few of them, so there'll probably be some different songs, not a ton, but at this
Yeah.
point in time, maybe a couple different songs in the headline shows from other shows, ones that we didn't play.
So like for like exactly. For example, there's I don't know, from a city you're gonna play certain song, and maybe in the other city you're gonna put other song. So you have to travel from Milan, and then you have to do Austria, another country. Wait. I
Yeah,
had
I mean, you look at what John has, and he puts like alt next to it. It's kind of one of those things where he feels like one of
um,
these songs would serve the same as the other song. So
tell me.
but you just look at that, and you kind of, there's so many songs, so it's really hard to say exactly which ones we'll do. And then we still got, once we start practicing, we're gonna know which ones
Yeah,
feel the best,
exactly.
you know.
Tell me, for our friends in Corleone, your let's say your biggest fan, I think, and all over the world, Calogero. There is gonna be Jesus Saves.
Yeah, you'll hear Jesus Saves.
That because they
Yeah, I mean,
as a
you
cover.
know the ones that I'm looking at my list. You're gonna hear Jesus Saves. You're gonna hear Edge of Thorns. You're gonna hear
Okay.
Handful of Rain. You're gonna hear Dead Winter Dead. The title track, Sirens, Gutter Ballet. You're gonna hear Mountain King. Over here, Power of the Night. These are just songs that you're gonna hear. And then when you fill in the other ones, that's the one thing that's really cool is a lot of every record except Poets had a title track, and they're all really strong songs and fun songs to play
Yeah.
live. So, you'll
There's
hear that, and
there's some song.
Wake of Magellan. I'm sure
Yeah.
will those. There's certain ones that be there, but then you'll hear. I'm gonna say right now when I say Jesus Saves, you'll hear Chance. I don't think there's ever going to be a show we're going to do without Chance, songs like that. So I'm not giving away a set list. I just know
Yeah,
what
what
songs
song?
that it's like if we didn't play, people would be like,
What?
"Why didn't you do that?" So no, there's ones that we'll play for sure. Then that's just the way it is, and they probably stretch into a half an hour, and then you're gonna look at what the rest of them will be that'll fill out the rest of it.
And there is some song that you're actually looking forward to play. Maybe that one was of the song that you like. Okay, this is what I'm looking forward to play after all this time.
Which one?
There is some song that you're really looking forward to play live after all this year.
I, all of them.
All of them. It's
Yeah,
funny,
I'm just excited to walk into these places and see the
the people.
set time production sheet on the wall and see it say Sabotage at whatever time of the day we're going on, and then be ready to grab that guitar and go on stage and start playing Sabotage music. I really don't think there's any one. I mean, it's always fun to start Hall of the Mountain King. It's so powerful to start that song. And
It's
I
amazing.
just think that I'm so excited to be playing Savatage music again as Savatage, and
Yeah.
that we could play any song on any of these records and I'd be happy,
And
I
of
think.
course, and of course, I mean, since like we are based, I mean, I'm based in Italy, we of course have to remind you're gonna be playing in Alcatraz in Milan the 24th of June. So we just say to the people that to keep that in mind that we're gonna be there finally after I don't know how many years it's gone, 4 by now.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
long
And
time.
I'm excited. I'm excited to get there. I think they told me that the tickets are selling very well. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah, exactly.
the last time we played in Italy, I remember we were playing somewhere that was kind of like in the middle of the woods. It was up that way, I believe. And I went jogging that day because my ankles used to be able to handle running more. And now I just do a lot of walking. But I saw the biggest wolf I ever saw in my life
Should be in the north.
run out of the woods and go across the road. He must have been And I have a 120-pound German Shepherd, so I know how big he is.
Yeah,
This wolf was probably 175 pounds. It was a big wolf,
yeah, but
and he looked at me and he just ran across the road and kept going. But
well, do
I love going to Italy and playing in Italy. I
yeah,
love the food in Italy, and I just love, like I said, I love to travel. And
of
I
course.
remember the last time we played in Milan on Wake of Magellan. It was a really awesome show. I can remember that
Yeah,
one in
there's a
particular for a lot of reasons.
there is
That
amazing.
the show and the bootleggers. I remember it was the first time I ever saw the bootleggers like in the parking lot or in the entrance thing, and I wanted to get a shirt, and the guys were like, "What are you going to give me?" I'm like, "You're selling my shirt, and I'm not making any money on it, and you won't give me one." So I went out there and handed them a bunch of guitar picks. So here I am making a deal with the bootleggers to get their bootleg shirts.
So are you preparing to bring again this time?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
believe me, it's gonna really be going sold out really easily because I'm dancing. The organization is probably the best we have in Italy, so you can be sure there is gonna be a blast. And the venue, the Alcatraz, it's amazing. It's really beautiful. It's a indoor. There is a magic sound. I've been here. We even when I was 19, so 20, almost 20 years ago. So, oh, believe me, it's a beautiful place. And of course, we're gonna have to have an espresso or something because I don't drink beer. So maybe something else. We have to drink something because we have to finally meet because
Yeah,
we can't stand anymore between screen. And
yeah,
then
no, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And like I said,
yeah,
I always had a lot of great memories of our shows in Italy and the Gods of Metal and
yeah. Do
everything else.
you remember it? It's not anymore happening. Gods of Metal. That's
Well, I remember that. I remember our sound man started sound checking us during Motorhead's set because Motorhead was on before us and Megadeth was on after us.
oh,
And I just remember Lemmy yelling at us from the stage, going, "Sabotage, wait your turn." And I was like, "Oh no, we just got yelled at by Lemmy."
you should be careful.
Yeah,
Be
yeah,
careful
yeah,
by
no, that,
lemons, this and easy. But of course, of course, this is is a beautiful European tour, and of course, people that are the chance to see you at the festival. But I always suggest to people also that will see you at festival to come also to a live show where you're headlining, like just simple show in a venue, because I think that's a different experience. And
yeah, it's gonna be fun too to
yeah,
for us to arrange that set of the other songs and play
yeah,
them. And when we get together in those situations, it is a lot more relaxed because you get a solid sound
yeah,
check and
exactly.
you know what you're up against when you get on stage. The
Oh,
festivals
exactly.
are so
Chaotic.
you blink your eyes, you're done. You got to sit there with your stuff, and then it gets loaded on, and then they do a line check, and then you play, and then you're off, and then it's done. It's like boom, 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 and it's like I've done it so many times with the festival, and it never changes. I think I'm a lot less nervous in the festival situations than I used to be. So many people get nervous about it, and I'm just like pretty relaxed about the festivals
Yeah.
now, especially since I had the chance to play tons of them with Doro throughout the
Yeah.
years because that's she a lot of times that's primarily what I was doing with her in the summer. I would just fly over to Germany and spend the weekend doing festivals and the week in a hotel waiting to do
Yeah.
festivals. And I'm really used to that because you're never really in control of everything at a festival ever.
Unfortunately.
It's just so you
No,
have to accept
unfortunately,
that.
no. Especially if you
The
play at home.
weather, the
Yeah.
stage, you try now I try to bring enough of my own guitar unit that I
Yeah.
can at least kind of guarantee I'm going to have a set sound. But
Yeah.
it's always there's always a lot of X factors. So
Yeah, of course, these things might happen, but of course, it's not gonna happen at Sabotage Tour because this is meant to be. And of course, I mean, we're almost at the end of the interview because we have a timing. But before we're gonna end, of course, like I said, we're gonna meet. We're gonna probably have even a in person interview for the first, or maybe not, to just chill out, which is better because since it's a one day show, there's no festival, no confusion.
yeah,
It's chill, chill. I wanted just to ask you also something about you, Chris, because I know that you are also about your music. You compose since a long time, almost 20 years of music. And did you have planning something just by yourself to came out during, I don't know, the year or the next year? Because I remember we left with Mayday when Mayday was out, was the last interview. So
Yeah, I mean, I got to a point where, doing complete records was, it got to be where it was like pretty stressful. I enjoyed making the individual single with Mayday, and then I did another one last year that was called "Do
yeah,
You See What I See Now?" And I like putting them together that way because I can concentrate on the one song, and instead of trying to get together a bunch of music and say, "Oh God, I gotta do that," you can really focus on that. And in the midst of that, I was trying to think of a way that I could release it that wasn't a single, and it was 20 years since I released my Warped record, which was originally known as Goddamn War. So I was originally trying to think of maybe a way of doing a 20
yeah,
year release of that. But
yeah, of course.
Metalville, my German label, they wanted to do something a little bit different and maybe release some of the song like Mayday or the Sick of This Shit song that I wrote and released during COVID. They're like, well, these songs were never put on a record. So we assembled a list of different things, and there are songs. There was a song called Last Time that I never released on Faces, and there was a song called I Miss You Sometimes that was like ballad kind of rock song
Yeah,
that I never released, and there was a couple other things, and we're just gonna piece it all together. And I always thought that the song Music Man
yeah,
never really got its chance, and I also thought that the song Pisses Me Off really needs to be reintroduced. So I'm doing like kind of the 20 years of the Music Man.
ooh,
And we're gonna have, those old songs mixed in with some new songs. The song Fright
okay.
Nights was never put out on a record. That was a
Record.
bonus track kind of thing from the War record. And it's just gonna be kind of a culmination of things where there's gonna be one heavier side of music and one more mellow side. It's just gonna be like
Okay.
20 years of what I did because,
So
the first songs were released and written in 2004 and the last one was finished in 2024. So it's 20 years of music and I think it'll be fun to release it that
yeah, of
way.
course.
And this way it's like I don't think I could fit everything on the vinyl edition, but I wanted to have a vinyl edition of the War record and my record company was like we can't do a double vinyl. It's going to be too much and
That's
so I was like, well, we'll do it this way and it gives people a chance to get kind of a,
magic.
I'm not going to say greatest hits because I
Yeah,
don't really consider anything hits, but it's just all my music combined along with the new single, and
yeah,
I'm excited just to have a gathering of some new music and some stuff
of
that people had
course.
never heard, and
Yeah,
also
that's
there was like
important.
the whoever put my music onto iTunes, they kind of messed up the Pins and Needles record, and
Yeah.
you got to be fucking kidding me. And the song "It's Sad" had the wrong song title. So I think since I was doing "Pisses Me Off" and "Sick of This Shit," I might as well throw in "You Got to Be Fucking Kidding Me" on the record too, so that everybody has those in a row.
Before we end, I want to just to dedicate this, of course, this interview to someone that got missed really recently, and I know that was a huge influence of you, John Sykes, because that's someone that I think every one of us that's in our heart would just
Oh
that
yes,
was an influence of you.
he was one of my favorites. I was playing Thunder and Lightning and Cold Sweat in a club band when I was 15,
Yeah,
and I told somebody before that he's in like my top five
yeah,
of all around guitar influences. Like, and I'm talking in how he performed, how
yeah,
he wrote, how he sang, how he played, how he was on
yeah,
stage. He's just like one of my biggest influences all around. He was to me the perfect rock and roll guitar player. When him and Ray Gillen were gonna do Blue Murder, I thought
I
that was
love
gonna
them.
be like the most magical thing ever
Yeah,
because Ray to me was just as cool and as great as ever be as a lead singer. Then you had Sykes, and I was like, wow, this is gonna be something really special. And I had a chance to see him with Blue Murder. I love that
uh,
record. That writing style, like Ptolemy and Valley of the Kings, is
oh my God,
that's how I write. So
that's amazing.
it's if I could get a singer and do a band, it would be with him. You know, he was
Yeah.
just that kind of
Okay.
thing. And I met
Uh,
him when he played with Thin Lizzy, and he was really kind, and
Yeah.
he appreciated my words to him when I told him what an influence he
Yeah.
was on me. And
Very
you know,
important.
I didn't know him, but from what I got from him is very valuable, and I think what all of us got from him was. So yeah, it's a big loss, and it makes me think a lot about what we're doing with Sabotage. You know how valuable time is. So
Exactly.
you know, and it's why we
Exactly.
need to go out and play this music, because we're all
Exactly.
here, and you know, you blink your eyes and another 10 years will go by, and maybe, you know, we're our angels are the crop of angels is growing, and I don't want that
Yeah.
to happen, but you know, life has been that way lately, so I just want to get out there and play,
Of course.
and see the fans, and have a chance to bring this music
Yeah.
back to them.
So I leave you now to the interview, and we're gonna talk sooner, of course, more the in depth. And of course, first of all, I hope that your mom gets better soon. Take care of your mom. Greetings to your mom. That's really important.
Yeah, I know.
And big act to your mom. And let's talk one of these days. Just do more up in depth about your solos project. And I can and see you in June. Now we can say it. See you in June with Sabaton.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Well, I will talk to you soon, and I gotta run
Yeah.
and get to this next thing.
Okay, thank you for the
Thank
time.
you.
Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye, Chris. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Jesus